This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Ashing Sani Singha. Let's have a look at the headlines first. The trade deficit for the month of September is a satisfactory improvement, Central Bank announces. Colombo Stock Exchange speeds up of its plan to introduce a single window to facilitate the member companies. News in detail. Quarantine curfew imposed on the western province and other areas of the country was lifted at 5 a.m. today, while selected areas being declared as isolated areas. Moreover, Health Minister Pavitra Wanyarachi has appointed a committee to study over the World Health Organization promising to provide the vaccination against COVID-19 to the 20% of the country's population. The quarantine curfew imposed on the western province and other areas of the country was lifted at 5 a.m. today. But 12 police divisions in the Colombo district, 8 in the Gampaha district and several areas in the Kalutara district are still under quarantine curfew. Thereby, Mattakkuliya, Modara, Blue Mandal, Kotahena, Grand Pass, Foreshore, Adruppu Street, Maligavatta, Dematagoda, Vallampitiya, Boralla and Kesalvatta in the Colombo district, Wattala, Paliyagoda, Kadawatha, Ragama, Nigambo, Pamunugama, Joyala and Sapkaskanda in the Gampaha district and Horana, Ingiriya and Vakada West in the Kalutara district are isolated. Thereby issuing a press release today evening, the Department of Government Information added that the isolation order issued on the Kurunegala Urban Council and the Kuliyapitiya Police Division, except for several selected areas, have been lifted. Thus, all areas under Kurunegala Urban Council area, excluding the Ilippugedara and Kadavidhiya Grama Niladhari divisions, will be no longer isolated. Galagedara, Hammalawa and Upper Kalugomuwa Grama Niladhari divisions in the Kuliyapitiya Police Division will also be isolated. Moreover, several housing schemes have been identified as high-risk areas and residents of the Metsanda Sevana, Mihijaya Sevana, Modara Ranmina Sevana, Sirisandawayana Dematagoda and Maligavatta NHS houses have been placed under home quarantine and are not permitted to leave the premises. Meanwhile, the police spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana added that 2,850 persons and 430 vehicles have been taken into police custody as of yesterday over violations of curfew regulations. Thereby, the COVID-19 death tally surged to 35 over the weekend, with 4 deaths on Saturday and 1 yesterday. Thus, the Department of Government Information yesterday stated that the post-mortem of a 78-year-old individual who had passed away during the admission to hospital has revealed that he has died of a heart attack caused by COVID-19. Moreover, the Diulapitiya and Paliyagoda COVID-19 clusters yesterday exceeded 10,000 cases, with 510 contacts of the Paliyagoda COVID-19 cluster testing positive for the virus. Moreover, a total of 107 prison inmates in the country are confirmed to have contracted the COVID-19 virus as of today evening, the Commissioner General of Prisons Tushara Upuldeniya said. At this juncture, the Attorney General Dappula Dilivera has issued the directives to the Acting Inspector General of Police C.D. Vikramaratne to grant bail to suspects currently under remand and file charges against them. This decision has been taken to diminish the overcrowding within prisons with the COVID-19 outbreak in the Remond prisons. In the meantime, 172 more people were tested positive for COVID-19 this evening. According to Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, they are all close contacts of previous patients. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 met today at the Presidential Secretariat presided by the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. At the meeting, President added that there are three possible solutions to the coronavirus, namely locking down the entire country, not taking any proper solution, and third is the continuation of the daily lifestyle of people while containing the virus, abiding to the strong health protocols. President added that the government has opted the third solution, which is the best solution for the country now. Moreover, the World Health Organization has agreed to vaccinate 20% of the country's population against COVID-19, and the health minister has appointed a committee to look into it. On the other hand, Sri Lanka received a consignment of 100,000 rapid antigen test kits donated by the World Health Organization today to combat COVID-19. The Colombo Stock Exchange has launched an action plan to address key areas relating to the process of listing a company on the CSE by simplifying the process, eliminating any redundant approval steps, and improving the time to market for companies' new and follow-on offerings of equity and debt. Thus, CSE is in the progress of introducing a single window which will address the problems faced by the companies through a single point of contact. Commenting on the new plan to streamline the listing process, CSE Chairman Dumit Fernando said that increasing the number of companies listed on the exchange is one of the CSE's key strategic objectives, and that simplifying the listing process would attract more companies to raise capital through the CSE, helping them unlock value and create wealth for their shareholders. Thereby, this new plan includes the reduction of documentation that have to be submitted with the listing application and the removal of certain disclosures in the prospectus and introductory document. Another significant change by the CSE is the introduction of a single window customer relationship unit that will be set up within the CSE to identify potential listing candidate companies, work with such companies, and assist them through the listing process. This will make it easier for companies and their advisors to understand and address any problems faced in the process through a single point of contact. With the objective of further enhancing the transparency of the listing process, an online tracking tool for all listing applications that have been submitted to the CSE will also be introduced. The CSE now offers equity and debt-based fundraising options for companies of all sizes, from large conglomerates to small and medium enterprises, through versatile listing platforms such as the main, Dirisavi and Empower boards. It was noted that people continue to shun credit card debt for the second month in a row in September, and that 41% of credit card users have now defaulted. Moreover, outstanding credit card balance fell by 566 million rupees in September to 117,534 million rupees after falling by 76 million rupees in August. Data showed that people and companies had built a considerable stockpile of bank deposits to the tune of 350 billion rupees from April to July. With the September data, total outstanding credit card balance was down by 3,955 million rupees from the beginning of the year balance of 121,489 million rupees. However, the people signed up for 13,514 new cards in September, taking the total number of active credit cards up to 1,884,341 by the end of September. Meanwhile, it has been revealed that 1 out of every 4 credit card users in the country is currently unable to repay their loans. Moreover, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka reports that the public has borrowed rupees 643 billion from pawning centres of commercial banks and financial institutions during the last 6 months of this year. As per research done by the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences of the University of Ruhuna, 45% of households in the country are in need of financial assistance to repay their loans, repay mortgages, pay off arrears and other bills. Stay tuned for more news after a short break. Welcome back after the break. Central Bank announces that the trade deficit for the month of September shows a satisfactory improvement and the trade gap is $232 million compared to the same month in 2019. The latest report by the CBSL reports that the major contributory factors for this outcome are the exports of pre-products and the mine agricultural products. Sri Lanka's external sector recovered further in September 2020, supported by the continued improvement in the trade deficit, a notable increase in workers' remittances, and the resultant stability in the domestic foreign exchange market. The trade deficit improved in September 2020 compared to an year earlier, with a more than expected rebound in merchandise exports and a reduction in merchandise imports during the month. In September 2020, workers' remittances recorded the highest year-on-year growth since end of 2011. In the financial account, the government securities market recorded a marginal foreign investment inflow during the month, while the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded outflows. Net inflows to the domestic foreign exchange market eased the pressure on the exchange rate and enabled the central bank to absorb foreign exchange on a net basis to build up gross official reserves. Reflecting these developments, the Sri Lankan rupee appreciated during the month of September 2020. A deficit of $525 million was recorded in the trade account in September 2020, which was significantly lower than the deficit of $757 million recorded in September 2019. The improvement in the trade deficit during the month was due to lower level of imports and higher level of exports in September 2020 compared to September 2019. The cumulative deficit in the trade account from January to September 2020 narrowed to $4,337 million from the deficit of $5,612 million recorded in the same period in 2019. Central Bank also announced that earnings from merchandise exports in September 2020 increased both on a year-on-year basis as well as on a month-on-month basis. Export earnings from agricultural goods was also increased by 10.4% in September this year on a year-on-year basis, led by coconut exports. Merchandise exports of $1,000 million in September 2020 were higher by 4.8% than the exports of $954 million in September 2019. This was also 5.6% higher than the exports of $947 million recorded in August 2020. Export earnings from agricultural goods increased by 10.4% in September 2020 on a year-on-year basis, led by coconut exports, spices, tea, mine agricultural products and seafood. Increased earnings from tea exports were supported by higher prices as export volumes declined to 2.8%. As a combined effect of weaker performance in some export segments and higher performance in others, overall earnings from the export of industrial goods increased by 3.6% in September 2020 on a year-on-year basis. The segments that marked a notable increase included personal protective equipment products such as plastic clothing, masks and gloves, and rubber products. The total increase in these three categories surpassed the decline in earnings from garment exports. Export earnings from food, beverages and tobacco also increased significantly, with exports of most of the value-added food items under this category growing, led by value-added coconut products. Export earnings from rubber products other than gloves such as tires increased as well. The export volume index improved by 18.4% on a year-on-year basis, while the unit value index deteriorated by 11.5% on a year-on-year basis in September 2020, indicating that the year-on-year increase in earnings from exports was on average driven by higher volumes. The latest LMD Nielsen Business Confidence Index survey shows that the economic sentiment in the country continued to deteriorate in October, with only a third of business people consulted for the survey saying that economic conditions are likely to improve in the coming 12 months, declining from 48% in September. The latest LMD Nielsen Business Confidence Index survey stresses that 35% of its respondents expect economic conditions to continue to deteriorate during this period, while 31% expect the economy to remain the same. In terms of the business outlook for the long term, half of those consulted by Nielsen believe that sales volumes will increase over the next 12 months. Furthermore, 31% of business people say sales will get better in the short term, down from 37% in September. Also, regard to the investment climate, 29% of survey respondents consider this to be a good time to invest. But 35% of corporate executives view conditions negatively, while 36% describe the investment landscape as being fair. We'll be back with stock updates after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 34.41 points to close at 6,114.5, and the S&P SL 20 gained 9.39 points to close at 2,379.69. The turnover was 5.5 billion rupees and over 225 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all the news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.
State of Business was sponsored by